Look at your cat right now. That animal sleeping on your couch is wearing a disguise. Because long before there were humans to feed it, before there were houses, before there was a single farm on Earth, that exact creature was something else entirely. Something that hunted in the dark for 10 million years. The house cat is the disguise. This is what was underneath. Here's something almost nobody knows about the animal in your home. The cat family is older than the human family, by millions of years. Around 10 to 11 million years ago, long before anything resembling a human walked the earth, small predators called Proilurus and Pseudolurus were already perfecting the exact hunting design your cat still uses today. Think about that timeline. Humans, in our modern form, have existed for roughly 300,000 years. The cat's hunting blueprint is over 30 times older than we are. When your cat crouches, freezes, and locks onto a toy across the room, it is running a program that was finished millions of years before the first human campfire was ever lit. You didn't adopt a pet. You invited a 10-million-year-old predator into your living room and gave it a food bowl. And it never stopped being that predator. It just learned to hide it. And here's where it gets strange. Almost every part of your cat's body was built for a wild life it no longer lives. Start with the eyes. Those vertical slit pupils aren't random. Researchers at Berkeley found that vertical pupils belong almost exclusively to ambush predators, animals that hunt low to the ground, judging distance before a pounce. Your cat is reading a battlefield that no longer exists. The ears rotate independently, nearly 180 degrees, tuned to the exact high frequencies a mouse makes, not a human voice. The whiskers measure whether a gap is wide enough to fit through and detect air currents from prey moving in total darkness. The spine is so flexible the cat can rotate its body mid-fall to land upright, a survival reflex for an animal that hunted and climbed in trees. None of this was built for your apartment. Every piece of it was built for the hunt. Your cat is a wild weapon wearing a house cat's body. Here's the part that should genuinely surprise you. Your cat's body literally cannot survive the way yours does. Humans are omnivores. We can live on plants, grains, fruit, meat, almost anything. Your cat is what scientists call an obligate carnivore. It must eat meat to survive, not by preference, by biology. It gets stranger. Your cat cannot taste sweetness at all. The gene that lets almost every other mammal detect sugar is broken in cats. It went dark millions of years ago because a pure predator never needed it. A cat has never once enjoyed something sweet. It physically can't. It needs specific compounds, like taurine, that only exist in animal flesh. Without them, its heart and eyes literally fail. Think about what that means. The cute animal begging near your kitchen is carrying the metabolism of a desert killer that hasn't updated its body for the modern world in millions of years. The wild never left. It's in the bloodstream. And here's a part that explains your cat's strangest behavior. Before humans, cats were not social animals. Unlike wolves, unlike lions, the wildcat ancestor of your house cat lived almost entirely alone. A single wildcat patrolled a territory of several kilometers, hunting alone, sleeping alone, defending that ground alone. It met other cats for only two reasons: to mate or to fight. This is why your cat does things that confuse you. Why it needs to survey its territory from the highest shelf. Why it gets stressed when a new cat appears. Why it marks furniture, patrols the same routes, and guards specific rooms. Your cat isn't being difficult. It's running the software of a solitary desert hunter that was never designed to share space with anyone. The wild cat lived alone for millions of years. Then, 10,000 years ago, it made one strange exception. And that exception was us. So if your cat is still a wild animal, what actually changed? Less than you'd think. And that's the most remarkable part. When scientists compared the DNA of house cats to wild cats, they expected big differences. Thousands of years of living with humans should leave a mark. They found almost nothing. The domestic cat's genome is closer to its wild ancestor than almost any other domesticated animal on Earth. A dog is radically different from a wolf. A house cat is barely different from a wild cat. What changed was tiny. A slight reduction in fear. A few new coat patterns humans found pretty. And one clever trick. Remember, adult wild cats never use this sound to communicate with each other. It's a vocalization that belongs exclusively to young cats. But your cat kept making this noise into adulthood, aimed only at you. And buried inside that sound is a frequency that matches a human baby's cry. The one sound your brain is wired to never ignore. The wild cat didn't surrender to us. It kept its body, its instincts, its independence, and learned exactly one phrase to keep us feeding it. So watch your cat tonight, and you'll see the wild animal leaking through. The pounce on a toy. That's the hunt. The way it brings you a dead bug or a toy mouse. That's a predator sharing a kill. The sudden sprint through the house at 3 a.m. That's a nocturnal hunter, running a patrol its ancestors ran for 10 million years. The kneading, the grooming, the perch on the highest shelf, all of it predates humans entirely. You're not living with a pet that descended from something wild. You're living with the wild thing itself, in a slightly smaller body, with a slightly quieter fear, pretending, just convincingly enough, to be tame. Here's the truth most cat owners never realize. Your cat did not evolve to love you. It evolved to survive, for 10 million years, alone, in the dark, perfectly. And then it found that the easiest way to keep surviving was to let one species believe it had been tamed. You think you have a pet. What you actually have is a wild predator that decided, a long time ago, that your couch was a good place to hunt from. And tonight, when it stares at you across the room, that's the wild still looking back.